All right, let's start by landing in our seated position. Finding a comfortable seat, making sure you have all of your props nearby. You want pillows or blankets and bolsters. And landing in a comfortable seat. Sitting up straight, nice and tall. If it feels comfortable, inviting your eyes to close. Or just looking in front of you, not focusing on anything in particular. Just landing here in this space, in this moment today. And just trying to find presence in this moment. And finding your breath, your inhale and your exhale. Being intentional about breathing in deeply, nourishing yourself with that breath, filling your belly, filling your chest. Perhaps placing a hand on the belly and a hand on your chest and noticing the rise and fall as you inhale and exhale. And trying for this moment to let go of everything that is around us currently. Even in the past week since we met last week, so much has been going on and there's been so much to hold space for, and so many emotions. But in this moment, try to be in the moment, noticing your breath, listening for the sound of your breath, feeling the breath as it enters your nose, noticing whether it's warm or cool. Noticing the sounds around you, your own breath, my voice. Maybe you can hear the birds around me. You hear sounds in your own environment. And just noticing, bringing your attention to those sounds, noticing. And then just letting it go, letting it all float by. Noticing how your body feels today. Again, not judging and not looking for anything in particular, just noticing how you're showing up at the beginning of this class. Scanning your body, noticing how you feel. Noticing your energy level. Maybe you're feeling tired, or maybe you're feeling ready to move. And again, not judging, just noticing. And landing in your breath. And holding space for self-compassion. Compassion for yourself, kindness towards yourself. Not judging anything that comes up today, anything that comes up in the practice. Making our practice today that space for kindness towards you. And then also in that self-compassion, recognizing that there is a common humanity and that these things we experience, the emotions we have, the physical things we feel, are not experiences we have alone, but in fact are shared experiences. And although we may experiencing things in different ways, there is a common humanity to all of this, a connection. And sometimes it's easier to let go of that judgment of ourselves when we can see the perspective of others, and noticing ways in which we perhaps wouldn't judge others for having the same emotion or physical pain or failure, perceived failure. And if we can think of these experiences as shared common experiences, perhaps we can have a little more grace and kindness for ourselves and for others. So inviting that space today, that kindness. There is a lot going on and there's a lot of work ahead of us, but in this moment, in this practice today, can we create that space for kindness and grace? Rooting that in our breath, with our breath standing as a constant reminder, a call to action for us to come back to that kindness. The inhale and the exhale. And again, inhale and exhale. And then as you are ready, starting to bring some movements with our breath. And you can keep your loose gaze or your eyes closed, or start to invite your eyes open. But as we do, we'll start to just simply invite some movement of our arms as we breathe. So inhaling, bringing our arms up, reaching towards the ceiling, towards the sky, nice and tall. And then bringing it to heart center. Again, inhaling, arms up to the sky. Exhale, hands to heart center. Inhaling, arms up, reaching tall. Hands to heart center. And again, 2 more times in this way, reaching tall. And exhale, hands to heart center. Inhale, reaching. Exhale, hands to heart center. This time, inhaling, arms up, and then twisting to our right. So we bring our left hand to our right knee and our right hand behind us to prop us up. Coming into a twist. Inhale, focusing on lengthening your spine in the twist. And on your exhale, focusing on the twist itself, engaging in that twist. You can keep your head forward or invite your head to look back over your back shoulder. And just notice what feels good today in this moment and in this practice. And then on an inhale, we invite our arms up, reaching tall, reaching to the sky. And then exhaling, twisting to the other side. So right hand to left knee, left hand behind you, propping you up tall. Inhale, focusing on lengthening the spine. And exhale, focusing on that twist. perhaps looking back over the back shoulder. As always, returning to the breath. And then on an inhale, arms reaching to the sky. And then grabbing that left hand or wrist with the right. Just making a nice curve over to the right. Or you can just put your palms of your hands together and make a curve with your body. Keeping your body kind of in one plane and just making a nice C with your spine. Not holding your breath when you're in the position, just breathing, returning to the inhale, the exhale. And then on an inhale, coming back up and switching sides, so going in the other direction. Nice curve of the body. Feeling the opening along your side body. Nice stretch. And then inhaling, coming back up to center, releasing your arms, landing them maybe on the knees, doing some circles with your shoulders, rolling them in one direction and then in the other. And then landing maybe some circles with the wrists, warm them up to one direction and the other. And then landing, taking a nice deep inhale and exhale. Again, having our breath root us back, anchor us back to that kindness and grace that we hold for ourselves and that we offer out to the world. Inhale and exhale. And then finding your way to our tabletop position. So inviting your legs to swing around, coming to hands and knees, wrists below shoulders, knees below hips. And as always, you can also do this just sitting in your chair, both feet grounded flat on the floor. Coming to our tabletop. And then starting with our cat and cow poses. So to begin, dropping the belly on an inhale, leading with your chest. Chest rises, hip rises, belly drops. And then in the opposite direction on the exhale, arching the back, dropping hips, dropping chest, and then flowing with your own breath. The inhale and exhale. Feeling that movement through your spine. And then as always, inviting in some exploration if that feels good today. Or maybe some circles or figure eights, maybe some C curves with the spine. Just move and see how it feels. And if it doesn't feel good today, then don't do it and switch to something else. And maybe today you just want to stick with the cat and cow. And just find that movement. And then landing in your table. And we come to our balance. So inviting that right arm up and forward and the left leg back. So again, you can come to your toes, or you can invite that back leg up. And feeling the strength in this pose, pulling your belly button up towards your spine, really engaging your core there to give you strength for this balance. And breathing in and out, and then landing. Rooting in our stable tabletop position, finding balance here, and then inviting the balance to our other side. Left arm forward and right leg back. To toes for today, or inviting up for balance. Attention to the breath, the inhale and the exhale, and then landing. And again, our other side. So we switch right arm, left leg, perhaps inviting that leg up and returning to breath. And it is in our most challenging poses, but also our most challenging moments in our lives, that we tend to hold on to our breath. And then release, taking it to the other side. And those left arm, right leg up, those moments are the moments where we most need our breath. But it's not automatic, so we need to train ourselves to come to breath in challenging moments, because it is that breath that will allow us and sustain us through the challenge, and will energize and empower us for the challenge. And release. Deep inhale and exhale. And one more time each side. So right arm, left leg. And if you want to try the crunch, inviting the elbow to the knee, meeting in the middle, lengthening. And landing. And then our other side. Left arm, right leg. Perhaps lifting. Rooting in the breath. And then maybe elbow and knee come to meet in the middle. Straightening back out. Rooting in our breath. And landing. And then pushing back to our child's pose. So big toes come together to touch. Your knees can be as close or far apart as feels good. And bringing the hips back towards your feet, landing head on the mat. And finding a space that feels comfortable and feels restful for a moment. And in this rest, thinking, reflecting back to a moment ago and the challenge of that balance pose. And maybe just taking inventory on your breath. Were you able to intentionally engage your breath? Again, our breath is so simple, but such a powerful tool. And our biology has set it up as a tool that helps us to balance and regulate and balance our stress response and bring us into activation of our parasympathetic nervous system, that system that helps us find calmness and connection, and helps to bring us out of our active stress response. And there is a lot of stress in the world currently, and a lot we are all dealing with in our lives and in our world. So it is so important to know this tool and to practice it, because again, it is in the challenging moments when we need the breath, but that we won't think to seek the breath unless we practice that in our daily lives and in controlled environments. And in practicing that, then we have that tool at our access when we most need it. And in those moments where we may not be able to consciously think about it, but if we have practiced, that breath will be there and will be a tool that empowers us and calms us and connects us. So if you practice nothing else today, or in any of the classes where we meet, you are breathing, you are absolutely doing the work, and you are doing the practice. Noticing breath throughout the rest of our practice together today, and being intentional about that breath. And as you're ready, rising back up to our tabletop position, maybe a little movement, a couple cat-cows or circles, and then landing back in your stable position, strongly rooted, wrists below shoulders, knees below hips. And then inviting that right arm up, inhaling it up to the sky. And then threading it through. And again, inhaling that arm up to the sky, threading it through. And inhaling again up to the sky. Exhale, threading through and landing. If it feels comfortable, landing on your shoulder and your cheek on the mat. And landing there. And if you're in a seated position, you can bring that arm across your body and give it a nice hug. And I think normally when I teach this, I always say inhale your arm to the sky, but today I am literally inhaling it to the sky and reaching towards the sun, and it feels wonderful. That grounding in nature can be such a blessing. And as you're ready with your own breath, inhaling that arm back up, reaching to the sky, and then landing. A nice inhale here, and exhale. And then we bring it to the other side. So inhaling that left arm up, reaching to the sky. Exhale, threading through. Inhaling up. Exhale, threading through. Again, inhaling up, reaching high. Exhale, threading through and landing. Shoulder and cheek to the mat. Resting here for a moment. Returning to your breath. The inhale and exhale. Inhale and exhale. And then inhaling that arm back up, reaching high, reaching to the sky, and landing. Maybe take a moment to press back into one more child's pose. Stretching your arms forward. Really trying to make this an active child's pose, pressing into your palms. So although your head is rested on the ground, activate your arms, pressing into your palms and kind of lifting your arms off the mat. So you are still in this restful pose, but your arms are a little more active. Returning to the breath. Inhale and exhale. And then as you are ready, taking your time, rising up, but then also making your way to your feet and to a standing position at the front of your mat. Taking your time to get there and to find this space. And taking the time to build your pose. So grounding through your feet, really rooting all corners of your feet into your mat and building the pose from the ground up. So engaging your lower legs, pulling your muscles into your bones, and then engaging your upper legs, really thinking about pulling actively your muscles, tighten them, pull them into the bones, and then think about pulling your legs up into your hips. So really engaging it and pulling up and in. Nice, strong spine. Shoulders up and back. Hands by your side. Nice and strong. Returning to your breath. The inhale and the exhale. And then together we'll flow and do our sun salutation. So inhaling this time, our arms up, reaching to the sky. Exhale, folding forward. Inhaling to our flat back, so landing your hands maybe on your shins or up on your thighs and having a nice flat back. Your eyes looking just ahead of your mat on the ground to help keep your spine nice and straight and flat. Landing here, just building this pose. And then on an exhale, folding forward again. And then on your next inhale, rising up, arms reaching high. Exhale, hands to heart center. And we'll continue with that flow. So inhaling, arms up. Exhale, folding forward. Inhale to flat back. Exhale, folding forward. Inhale, arms reaching to the sky. Exhale, hands to heart center. And we'll flow 2 more times in this way. So inhaling, arms up. Exhale, folding forward. Inhaling to flat back. Exhale, folding forward. Inhale, reaching high. Exhale, hands to heart center. One more time. Inhaling up. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale to your flat back. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, rising high. Exhale, hands to heart center. Landing here for a moment. Perhaps inviting your eyes to close if that feels comfortable. Or just focusing on nothing in particular. And noticing how your breath feels. Noticing how your body feels. And as always, no judgment. Just noticing and then letting it float by. Returning to your breath, the inhale and the exhale. Again, inhale deeply, filling belly, filling chest, and exhale. And then releasing your hands, and we're gonna come to our warrior series, so our strength series. Coming to the front of your mat or staying at the front of your mat, and then inviting your right foot back. Again, back foot is at a bit of an angle. Your front foot is facing forward, your toes facing forward. We're building the pose from the ground up. So finding that position that's comfortable for you, making sure your feet are not on a single line, but have a little space, little width between them to help for balance. Back leg is straight. Front foot steps forward and bend in the front leg. And your knee should be over your ankle. So again, strong, straight back leg, bend in the front leg. To start, both hips facing forward and inviting your arms up. Warrior one. And here, finding your breath, the inhale and the exhale. And one more time, inhale and exhale. And from there, opening up to warrior two. So back leg is still straight, front leg bent, both hips are now towards the side, and your arms coming straight out from your shoulders. Looking back to check and see where that back arm is. Is it where you think it is? Make sure it's not too low or way too high. Just nice and straight out from your shoulder. Building this pose, then bringing your eyes, your gaze over that front middle finger. And noticing how strong you are in this. And again, as always, if things get a little too intense, you can always straighten the front leg and then come back in. Returning to the breath, the inhale and the exhale. And then flipping that front palm, dropping your back arm and reversing your warrior. Back leg stays straight, front leg bent. Then inhaling back, warrior two. Inhale and exhale. And then inviting our side angle pose. So bringing your forearm to the bent front leg, inviting your top arm up and out over your ear in a nice straight line of your body. You can think of a nice straight line coming through your arm all the way through that back leg. Breathing, inhale and exhale. Then on an inhale, coming back up to warrior two. Nice and strong. Inhale and exhale. And then on an inhale, stepping both feet back to center. Landing here in your strong mountain pose. The inhale and the exhale. Inhale and exhale. And then when you're ready, taking it to the other side. So stepping back with that left leg, building your pose. Back foot, the foot is at a slight angle that feels good for your body. Front foot is facing forwards, back leg straight, front knee bends. Again, feet are with some width between them for balance. Both hips facing forward. And when this feels nice and stable, nice and set up, inhaling arms up. Warrior one. Notice your strength, the strength that we all have, the strength rooted in our breath to carry us and hold us and balance us. The inhale and then the exhale. And then from there, coming and stepping, opening up to your warrior two. So bringing both arms out, checking that back arm. Is it coming straight out? And then bringing your gaze over the front arm. Nice and strong. Hips to the side in this pose. Rooted in our breath. Warrior two. Inhale. And the exhale. And then on inhale, flipping that front arm, dropping your back arm, reversing our warrior. Breathing in, breathing out. In and out. And then inhaling back to our warrior two. Landing in our breath here. Inhale and exhale. And then dropping that front forearm to your thigh. Inhaling your top arm up in a nice straight line. Coming to your breath. Inhale and exhale. On an inhale, rising back up, warrior two. Rooting in your breath. Inhale and exhale. One more, inhale and exhale. And then stepping back up to the front of your mat. Landing here in our mountain pose. Nice and strong, firmly rooted through your feet, engaging your legs. Nice long spine. You're bringing shoulders up and back. Landing here for a moment, closing eyes and noticing how you feel. Noticing your breath. And noticing how your breath may be different than before we started that challenging series. And again, just noticing. Maybe noticing too that you have complete control of that breath. You can change how long your inhale is and how long that exhale is. And maybe trying to lengthen that exhale. Maybe exhaling to a count of 8. Taking a nice, long, slow exhale. And the exhale is the part of the breath that calms us. So if we ever need calming, we can focus on the exhale and also on lengthening that exhale. So maybe breathing into a count of 4, but then exhaling to a count of 8. And then maybe checking in and noticing if you feel a little different simply by your breath and the length of that breath. And then as you're ready, opening your eyes, if you had closed them, finding your strong mountain pose, and then inviting our balance. And we'll do our tree pose. So rooting strongly through that left leg and inviting lightness in the right leg. So coming to where your tree pose is going to be today. Your kickstand, coming to your lower leg, maybe reaching down, bringing your foot to your upper leg. Wherever you're going to land today, start there. Inhaling, hands to heart center. Focusing on the breath, the inhale, the exhale. And as always, remembering that trees are not still. Trees flow, trees wobble, and then they flow back in the other direction. And know that that is all part of it. And if you fall out, just coming back, maybe growing your tree. I'm doing this pose outside. I am looking at trees all around me, and not a single one of them is still. No matter what type or how tall or short, they're all flowing in some way. And then hands back through heart center and releasing. Nice inhale and exhale. And then coming to our other side. So inviting grounding through that right leg, and then lightness into our left, coming to wherever your tree is going to land today. Inviting hands to heart center. Focusing on the breath, the inhale, and the exhale. Again, inhale and exhale. Maybe growing your tree, arms reaching tall. Noticing your breath, being intentional about your breath. And then hands through heart center and releasing. And just taking a moment here for another deep inhale, filling belly, filling chest. And a nice long exhale. And then as you're ready, making your way to the mat, coming to a seated position with our legs out in front of us. And we'll do our forward fold. So again, you can have any props or straps, if you have a towel or a blanket to wrap around your feet, you can do that. You can rest your hands on your legs. You can really build up a nice stack to come forward on. If you have bolsters and pillows, stack them up. Make this very restorative pose, coming forward in that way. Whatever feels good today. But again, as always, we start with a nice straight spine, coming up as tall as we can, and then leading forward with the chest. So not necessarily coming forward very far at all, but coming forward with as straight a back as you can. And that's your forward fold. And noticing how that feels, maybe inviting your eyes to close if that feels comfortable. And noticing that how that might change the pose. But no matter where you are or how you're doing the pose, bringing attention to your breath, to that inhale and the exhale. Maybe you notice a little additional release into the pose on that exhale. Again, deeply rooted in that inhale and exhale. And then on an inhale, dropping your head, rolling up slowly, one vertebra at a time. And then from there, getting your props. And we'll do a supported child's pose here. So bringing your props, your blanket roll, your pillow stack in front of you and pulling it in towards you. And landing here, and then folding forward. Again, your knees can be as close in or as far out as feels good. And then just coming forward and lie your cheek on the mat, on your prop. Bringing attention and intention to your breath. Noticing your own breath, your inhale and your exhale. And then flipping your other cheek to rest on the bolster, facing your head in the opposite direction. Then as you're ready, taking your time, making your way back up and pushing your bolster and props just off to the side. And then we're going to come to lying on our backs. So coming to lie on that mat, bringing your feet to the mat, knees up in the air, resting here for a moment. And then inviting your right ankle up over your left thigh. Staying here or inviting your hands around that left thigh. Inviting both of your legs into your body, towards your body. Both feet are flexed. And focusing on your breath. Then as you're ready, hugging both knees into the chest, giving yourself a big hug, maybe rocking side to side a bit. Then landing both feet on the mat again and taking it to the opposite side. So inviting that left ankle onto your right thigh, landing there, staying there, or inviting your arms to reach around that right thigh, pulling both legs towards your body, both feet in a flexed position. As always, returning to your breath. Then as you're ready, hugging both knees in, giving yourself a big hug, rocking back and forth, maybe doing some circles with your knees, maybe an extra hug. And then preparing yourself, we're going to do our inversion, our waterfall pose, or feet up the wall. So if you have a block or a prop, pillows, multiple blocks, you want to use those, then landing both your feet on the mat, grabbing your props, landing both feet on the mat, knees towards the ceiling, and then pressing hips up, putting the prop under you, and then landing hips back down, and then inviting your feet up to the sky. And if you're not using props, you can just invite your legs up. You can also, if you have a chair, you can put the chair in front of you and land both of your legs onto the chair to rest on the chair in this way. And then as you're ready, releasing, taking your time. If you have a block or pillow under your hips, landing both feet to the mat, knees pointed to the sky, lifting your hips up, sliding that prop out, landing your hips back down. And then you can give your knees another hug into your body, maybe a little rocking. And then from here, you can come straight into your final relaxation, which can either be lying flat with both your feet out to the edges of the mat, kind of just flopping open, hands up to the sky, or you can do the heart opener we've done for the past couple weeks. So stacking a roll of blankets or a few pillows or a bolster if you're lucky to have one of those, stacking them up. Oftentimes it's good to put one on top of another, but finding a combination that feels really good, pulling the bolster in towards your hips, the base of your spine, and then coming backwards onto your bolster in a way that you feel supported and comfortable. And then arms can come up, palms to the sky, and legs can either be straight out with your feet falling open, or you could try bringing the soles of your feet together and just letting your knees fall open. And if you are doing this pose with the soles of the feet together, experiment with how far your feet are away from your body. And that will vary the intensity of the pose in your hips. So bringing feet closer or moving them further apart. And just find something that feels good, feels comfortable, feels restful. And relaxing here into this pose. And if you are on a prop or bolster or pillow and you want to come out of that at any point, just roll your body to the side, push the bolster out of the way, and then come to lying flat on your back. And you can choose to do that at any point, or you can stay in this supported, restorative position through the remainder of our practice in our resting pose here. So finding the space that is comfortable, the position that is comfortable for you and your body, and inviting rest and integration in. You did the practice, you showed up today. Now give yourself the time to integrate that. And holding space for all that the world is experiencing currently. And wishing ease to yourself, wishing that grace and kindness we talked about at the beginning, inviting that in for yourself, inviting it in for our group, and then envisioning it for the world around us, for our nation, for the entire world. And holding that kindness as an intention in your heart to carry you through the days and the weeks ahead. And I'm going to close our meditation by reading Caged Bird by Maya Angelou. A free bird leaps on the back of the wind and floats downstream till the current ends, and dips his wing in the orange sun rays and dares to claim the sky. But a bird that stalks down his narrow cage can seldom see through his bars of rage. His wings are clipped and his feet are tired, so he opens his throat to sing. The caged bird with a fearful trill of things unknown but longed for still, and his tune is heard on the distant hill, for the caged bird sings of freedom. The free bird thinks of another breeze, and the trade winds soft through the singing trees, and the fat worm waiting on the dawn bright lawn, and he names the sky his own. But a caged bird stands on the grave of dreams. His shadow shouts on a nightmare scream. His wings are clipped and his feet are tired, so he opens his throat to sing. The cage bird sings a fearful trill of things unknown but longed for still, and his tune is heard on the distant hill, for the cage bird sings of freedom. Inviting back as you're ready, your intention, your attention, your breath, your inhale and exhale. Again, intentionally inhaling and exhaling. And inviting in movement to fingers and toes, hands and feet. And as you're ready, making your way up to a seated position. If you have blocks and bolsters and pillows, blankets, rolling to the side, moving those away. You're on your mat, perhaps rolling to the side, resting there for an intentional breath before coming back up to our seated position. And everyone meeting together as we did at the beginning of the practice. A nice tall seat, strong back, intentional breath. And to end practice, we will share 2 breaths, perhaps inviting your hands into your heart center, feeling your heart. And together, we inhale and exhale. One more time, inhale and exhale. Thank you all for your presence today, for being part of this journey with me. Have a wonderful day, beautiful weekend. Namaste.
Namaste.
Namaste.